Speedruns are always a race with every person on the planet that has ever set up LiveSplit. They all have laid their mark on whatever game they decided to take their time in. And not only is it a race against that person, but the best that that person has ever achieved.
Oh my god!
Rankings are determined by every player's personal best. The leaderboard dictates who has the most actualized potential. But this isn't the only way speedrunners can race. World records and leaderboards only show one aspect of the many skills that are required when learning a speedrun. A personal best is usually accomplished by an insane amount of time spent grinding for good RNG, grinding for good execution, and that's a massively impressive skill set, one that leaves a legacy for a long time to come. But what about those other skills? What about consistency? What about adaptation? And what about mental game? These aspects of competition are generally left on the table when it comes to speedrunning, because everyone just submits to the leaderboard. I wanted to test these lesser used skills, and this is why I decided to challenge the entire Devil May Cry speedrunning community to a race. Well, that's one way to frame it. The perfect way to do this is to have a speedrunning tournament, and it just so happened that the 4th Devil May Cry Any% speedrunning tournament was just around the corner. And with that on the horizon, my goal was simple: to defeat every competitor and become the best Devil May Cry speedrunner in the world. I kind of have already been working on this. I'm trying to become the ultimate god gamer of the original Devil May Cry, and I created a list of 15 challenges that I must complete before I can declare myself the GOAT. Everything from speedrun world records to an assortment of challenge runs and even beating the game blindfolded. Though, even if I do complete all 15 of these challenges, I can't really establish myself as the GOAT if I've never even been the reigning champion of the annual Devil May Cry speedrunning tournament. At least I don't think so, so that became my most recent goal: to be the very best like no one ever was. The speedrun category for this tournament is very straightforward, Any% normal. Beat the game by any means necessary on the standard difficulty. The format would be slightly complicated, however. The tournament started with a group stage. 3 groups of 4 runners would compete, all 4 runners running at the same time. The first 2 to finish would move on to the next stage. Completing first or second would affect your seeding for the second stage of the tournament. Once each group is finished and the runners who advanced to the next stage were selected, the event would break down into a series of 1 versus 1 races that were best of 1. The bracket is single elimination, however. That means if you lose even 1 race, you're out of the competition for good. The only exception to this would be the final 2 races. If you lose in the semifinals, you would meet for one last race for the 3rd place match. If you, however, managed to make it all the way to the grand finals, you would be met with a best of 3 race. That means if you wanted to win the entire thing, you would have to be in the top 2 in the group stage, then win 2 best of 1 races, then win 2 out of 3 races in the grand finals, for a total of at least 5 consecutive victories. The first place finisher would be receiving 70% of a $550 prize pool, second would get 20%, and third would get 10%. So not only was our prides and ego on the line, but also a little bit of dosh too. In a competition like this, it's not only about top speed, but consistency. Just because you have a faster personal best or even the world record does not mean that you can consecutively pull off a top 3 in the world performance 5 races in a row. The top end of the leaderboard for Devil May Cry speedruns is massively competitive. With the world record and 8th place being within the same minute of each other, there is a ton of potential for upsets. But I wouldn't be the first to race, so let's cover the other runners first. If I wanted to win, I would have to beat out some of the top dogs in the game. Our first foray race would feature...
Hold on a second. What the hell are you wearing? I thought better of you. You're a wife who runs viewer and you're getting caught wearing that? It's a goddamn disgrace. It's a good thing that you don't go outside, because if anyone saw your sorry ass walking around the streets of Akihabara wearing that, you'd be put down faster than a pit bull in a playground. Lucky for you, I have good news. Wife Who Runs has just launched his first ever merch store. Thanks to Veiled Threads, you too can now buy the drippiest gamer merch on the internet. Guaranteed to increase your attention from waifus all over the world. Don't believe me? Here's a testimonial from my girlfriend. Anyways, Waifu's merchandise is affordable and comes in a vast array of sizes, all the way from small to 4XL, and ships nearly anywhere with a quick delivery time. They pick the closest manufacturer to you, and they make it especially for you. So, if you don't want to get caught slacking and have me talk smacking, then buy some merch today from the link in the description.
Slickford. Last tournament's reigning champion and 2-time world record holder for any percent normal, he is also the second person to ever complete the Dante Must Die 100% speedrun category, and one of only 3 people to ever do it. He is known for an insanely fast mashing skill, and his overall consistency and ability to save runs with suboptimal money routing. A definite favorite to win the whole event. Next up is Zeta. Zeta's an old head runner known for his innovative routing. He is the king of backups. Zeta tends to focus on skipping expensive skills and doing routes that don't require consistent S ranks or special bonuses, leaving him unable to get top times, but having a greater level of consistency overall. Then we have Figmac, a new runner to the community. Fig is an up-and-comer who has quickly flown up the leaderboard to 23rd place. Last but not least is Moody, the first-person shooter speedrunning god gamer. Moody's known for primarily his absolute domination over Half-Life and also Quake, making him an insane force to be reckoned with. He didn't participate in the last tournament, but he did end up achieving the world record just a few days after it ended. This time he has come to play and has practiced quite a lot beforehand. Though not as well versed in Devil May Cry as some first-person shooters, Moody is an absolute favorite to make it to the finals. For those who are new to the run, there are 23 missions in Devil May Cry, and every mission gives you a ranking. These ranks are based on how much damage you took, how much money, aka orbs, you collected, and how fast you beat the level. Each rank has a specified orb bonus associated with it, an S rank being the highest rank possible. Well, kind of. I'll explain more later. Regardless of ranking, what's more important is speed. It is a speed run after all. With all 4 of our runners up and running, we arrive at our first big decider, and that's the basement. Mission 1 has 2 mandatory fights, and both of them are super luck dependent. Each of the fights are full of marionettes, and thanks to the divine bald wisdom of Hideki Kamiya, their health is completely random. Each of the marionettes can have a different color, and the colors roughly correlate with the amount of health they have. It's not a big deal unless they're red though. Reds have substantially more health than the other colors, but even within those colors there is a range of health. That being said, Mission 1 is a complete RNG fuckfest, and you're lucky to get out of there with your S ranks, and any time even remotely close to a 230 IGT. This mission has by far the most variance of any in the game, so it's a good thing it's right at the start. But in a race setting like this, there is no do-overs, so it better be good. Slickford starts off with an early lead, having a damn good Mission 1, but every runner gets an S rank. Exactly what you want to see. Slickford starts off with an early lead, having a damn good Mission 1, but every runner gets an S rank. Exactly what you want to see. Our S rank, comrade. Mission 2, however, is much more volatile when it comes to ranking than Mission 1. If you get hit even once at any point, you lose the S rank, and that S rank is necessary for buying Stinger on Mission 3. The scissors are also a huge troll that can lose you a ton of time. Obviously peak enemy design. How could you hate enemies that have no clip enabled? Everyone gets their S rank, but no one has a really good scissors. The third mission is mostly movement, but it's arguably the most important mission in the entire run, as it has the first boss fight, Phantom.
Here we go with the Phantom. Are we gonna get the... Nice, we got the quick kill.
One. Yeah.
No, what you really... Yeah, what you really want to work on this, you need to kind of hit it in the back. I guess the back sack. I know that sounds really weird, but to get like a critical hit, you have to jump kick off it and then do a helm breaker down onto it.
Slickford has a perfect fight, and so does Moody and Fig. Zeta has a bit of trouble, but manages to save it without getting hit. This is really important, because Mission 3 has a special bonus in the route. A special bonus is like a super S rank. Basically, it gives you an additional 2,000 orbs on top of the S rank bonus for doing the mission absolutely perfectly. This gives a huge early economic boost, so it's absolutely essential to going fast. Slickford finishes first, but Moody and Fig are not far behind. Zeta is trailing, but everyone's orb economy is looking much better than the US economy. So that's good. Next up is a series of Black Cat Ball Busters. Mission 4 and 5 both have shadows, which, while not as bad as playing as V and DMC5, are pretty fucking annoying.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
They have completely random health pools thanks again to Kamiya, but on top of that, they have many attacks that give them invincibility, and they cannot be truly hurt until you break their core out by shooting them enough. That, or by countering them by shooting them while standing on top of their skewer attack. These pussycats are really evil and are a common spot to lose orb economy and also a lot of time if the cats don't go well. Slickford opts for the full YOLO strat, blasting the blicky right into the cat, spray bottle in hand. It works in his favor this time, but on Fig's screen you can see how it can go if you get unlucky.
So we got Fig. Oh, Mrs. Skewer. It's fine, we've got it.
Moody opts for the alternative strategy I found, manipulating the shadow into doing the skewer attack and then countering. Mission 5 has the only other special bonus in this meta route. Getting hit here and losing that special bonus would be catastrophic for our runners. Thankfully, once again, everyone has a perfect orb route.
Nice. Yeah. Nice, that was sick.
At the end of Mission 7, Slickford is at 10 minutes and 24 seconds, followed by Moody with a 10:43, then Fig with an 11:17, and Zeta with an 11:21. At this point, Slickford is running away with it. The first 8 missions have the largest potential for chokes and insane time saves due to RNG of anywhere in the run. The rest of the run is far more consistent and skill-based. The final Phantom fight on Mission 8 is completely consistent, but is very difficult. Moody and Slickford blow out this guy's boy hole in record time, but Zeta and Fig have a bit of trouble with it, extending their gap from second to third. Remember, the top 2 players move on, so you don't have to win the whole race. Just do better than the bottom 2. And at the end of Mission 11, Moody is only 11 seconds behind Slickford, but over a minute ahead of Zeta. And Fig shows us why Mission 10 is so feared. The gimmick of this mission is that you have to escort a light to the end of the level, and you follow the light through each guided door. But if you go the wrong way, you have to restart the whole thing. The light goes inside some enemies and you have to kill them to get it out. This can sometimes change the direction of the light depending on where the enemies are when you kill them.
No!
Oh,
Oh my fucking... Sorry.
I cannot believe that. The orb has once again trolled.
My
Why did you
apologies.
do this stuff?
And I cursed Fig. Of all people. Oh my
You
god.
cursed the newest runner. I can't believe I can't believe you just did that.
Fig didn't notice this and had to restart a huge time loss, giving Zeta a firm 3rd place. That being said, Moody still has a huge gap on Zeta, and it's unlikely he would be able to make this gap up without a major mistake from either Slick or Moody. Throughout the late game, the run gets even more consistent with more item usage and a stacked economy. This is where the highest level players really get to shine, as mostly the rest is execution. That being said, Moody even gets on a pace for a new personal best and is only 15 seconds behind Slickford at Mission 17. This trend would continue until Moody would make a grave mistake.
But
Moody's getting a little bit trolled by the sides there. Got hit as well. That's really unfortunate. Alright, turning around. Nice.
okay, at least it was only one. He didn't cut his hair so much that he became bald. It's fine.
Someone decided to start a trend of enemies in Devil May Cry flying through walls, and whoever did, I hope, is relegated to playing these underwater sections exclusively for the rest of their lives. Anyway, this kills Moody's PB pace and puts him out of serious contention to get first place in this race, unless Slickford makes an equally grave mistake, which there is still massive potential for. Mission 20 has the 3rd nightmare fight, and it's definitely a place where you can choke and lose massive time. Followed by that is Mission 21 and Time to Climb.
I am going to pop in real quick to say that when we get to Cosmo Climb, this is a reminder to everybody to put Time to Climb Monka Steer in chat. All right, I'm done now.
There is a trick called Cosmo Climb found by DE Cosmic that saves a ton of time in this mission. By using the move Vortex, you can aim at an enemy above you, then Vortex straight into the sky, skipping all of the platforming on this level. The enemy AI is random though, so you have to adjust based on what they do to try to get a good climb. This trick saves so much time that if you don't get a good one, it could make or break a race.
Okay, it's time to climb. Let's see. Let's see what happens.
Oh, god dang.
No.
Oh, that is
No.
a shame. It's time to climb, alright. God damn.
Moody, on the other hand, has a 3/4 climb, making it most of the way up.
It's not enough for me for my run style. But yeah. Ooh, hey.
We take those. We take those.
It's not nearly enough to close the gap between them though, as the second Mundus fight is over and the places are essentially solidified. There is a chance that you can get super unlucky and have to use some items in the Mundus fight, losing some time. And if you don't use those items, you will die for a massive time loss. But because that didn't happen to Slickford, Moody was not given a chance to catch up. Fig and Zeta both stay on their same paces for the rest of the run with no major mistakes. This makes the first race come to a close with Slickford in first place with a 35.44, followed by Moody with a 36.19, then Zeta with a 39 flat, and finally Fig with a 40.29. That means that Moody and Slickford both move on to the 1v1 races, and Fig and Zeta unfortunately are out of the tournament. The next race would then feature Spence Speedruns, aka Dan. Dan is known for being a fierce competitor in the world of Devil May Cry 1, but is also known for his Devil May Cry 2 and 3 runs. Last event he lost 3rd place to me in a close matchup where he had much worse luck. While he's never had world record in any percent normal for this game, he has been a close contender for it many times. On top of that, he's completed the low percent world record and all collectibles world records and held those many times as well. Certainly a fierce competitor. Fiery is a relatively new runner, this being their first tournament, but they're also not brand new. Known for doing a variety of speedruns from Dead Space to Devil May Cry, Fiery has an uphill battle for this tournament, but shows some great potential. Their new perspective has also led to the creation of a lot of new strategies recently. Speedy Ish is the newest blood in this heat, recently learning both Devil May Cry 1 and 3. Ish has quickly improved to be the best VTuber Devil May Cry runner. Yang is the only person in this heat to have had world record in any percent normal, and at the time of this tournament has tied world record of a 35.10 with Cool Karma. Easily my favorite to win this tournament, but with little live competition experience, will she be able to pull out a performance of that quality throughout our tournament? We will find out as the race is off. Everyone gets a good mission 1 with all S ranks, and no clear leader. Uh-oh, Ish is in a scary situation. Oh my lord.
Ooh.
Oh my god. There's one for
This is trolling-ish hard, poor guy.
Didn't get hit though. Dude,
A lot of sloppy scissors, but I'm not seeing any damage.
honestly, like way better to just have a slow scissors and get your S rank, I think. Unless you're like already like super practiced on a backup that's not that slow. You just lose so much time on mission 3. The reason where you really want that S rank on missions 2 and 1 is that so you could buy Stinger 2 for mission 3, because it saves like almost 10 seconds or something crazy just on that mission, and then you have to buy it because it saves time everywhere else. So then you're behind on orbs on 4 and things just get really weird, and you know, like it can also really help for recovering on the Phantom boss fight if things go awry, having that Stinger 2. This game is all about compounding interests, you know? It's in the money and in the time. Like you miss one thing and that means you miss something else, which means you miss something else, and it just compounds over the course of the run. So missing that S rank can have lasting consequences throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, it's definitely up to each runner to know if something does go wrong. It's definitely a skill issue to be able to adjust on the fly and correct whatever you need to be correcting.
So no quick turn or slow turn for Claire Yang, bottom right. Oh, slow turn for Dan. Got the good counter on the recovery at the beginning though, but now things are getting awry. Really don't want to see Dan get hit here. That would be super bad. Good recovery from Dan.
Yep.
Shadow on mission 4 is good for everyone except for Ish, whose cat will just not die, trolling him for huge time loss. After some decent M5 cats, everyone still has a perfect orb route, but Yang is far ahead of Dan, who is far ahead of Fiery, who is then far ahead of Ish.
Fiery's
there you
on early vortex route. I missed Yang. It's a lot to watch.
Yang is not going to do early vortex, I'm pretty sure. She's just on that 2022 meta.
And the
I mean, it's solid.
Perfect.
So there's a lot of new route development going on with early vortex and air hike, no air hike, blah blah. I believe Fiery is going to be doing vortex on 6, and then just never buying air hike the whole run.
No air hike at all. Okay.
Yeah, I think that is crazy, but you know, that's their thing. That's gonna come into play on 11 and 16 and 17, like the big ones where that could potentially lose a lot of time. But if accounted for, I guess potentially not that bad. The downside, as you will see on mission 11, is that not having air hike fucking sucks. Pretty much specifically because of this jump, but a few other places as well. Oh, here you see Fiery struggling without air hike. This jump sucks. All right, third try, not too bad. Yeah. With Yang running away with this race, second place is a coveted position, and these missed jumps extend Dan's lead on Fiery a lot. Then on mission 12, Fiery mistimes a holy water on the death site.
Ooh,
She's
Fiery did not get the double kill. Yeah, like we said earlier, Fiery did not get the double hit kill on the death site. So I had to chase it around a little bit. Oh, and too early. He missed the stinger too. The stinger didn't hit, so this holy water's not gonna kill. He gets to air raid. And he doesn't have an air raid. He doesn't have air hike though.
No.
He doesn't have air hike, so he couldn't. Okay. Oh, that was like really scary. That was almost a full grief.
This makes this race a race that Dan would have to throw to lose. Despite this, Fiery is actually on pace for a new personal best, nearing the end of mission 15.
I'm loving the look of Fiery splits right now.
I was literally just about to say that, yeah. Like, even with all that chaos on 12, like, still, like 30 seconds ahead.
So is Dan, only 2 seconds behind his PB. And so is Yang, only 0.9 behind her PB, which is also the tied world record, by the way. Into mission 18, Yang is now officially on world record pace, and Dan is on PB pace still. That being said, Dan is almost a minute behind Yang, and Fiery is almost a minute behind Dan.
Wow. Oh my god. We might, I don't want to jinx it, but let's see a world record here from
Double PB.
Yang.
Ish has started to catch up though, being in the same mirror puzzle room as Fiery. Yang, now on mission 19, is praying for fast nobody death animation RNG. But unfortunately, they get bad RNG and this loses the world record pace going into mission 20.
Time to climb incoming. So they need to like no damage and get a bunch of orbs. Yeah, there it is. Time to climb.
Very nice.
Oh no. It's like a decent climb, but that's like rip record. Pretty sure right there. I mean, fantastic for the race, but
Yes.
the record is definitely dead now,
Oh, Dan.
unfortunately. No, Dan!
Unfortunate.
Ends up by the button, just says fuck it. Push the button, abort.
After Mundus, he is only 0.19 behind and has time save on mission 23. Not only could he secure a spot in the next round of the tournament, but also a new personal best if he clutches out this final level. Speaking of clutching, Fiery clutches out a 6 save on this Cosmo climb.
Oh no, Fiery.
No.
Fiery! Okay, okay. Do they know where they are though? Oh my
Very nice.
god!
These
Wow, what a
plasmas do
save.
not want to play
Nice.
today. All right, there we go.
Wow.
And Yang finishes the run with a 35-32, the best time of the tournament so far. Literally on world record pace for nearly the whole run. Dan second with a 35-50 and a new personal best. Fiery, unfortunately, unable to get a new personal best, but finishes strong with a 37-44 when you remove the loads. Ish then finishes shortly after that. That being said, Dan and Yang qualify to move on to the next round, but Fiery and Ish are now out of the tournament. Up next, we have the last of the 4-man heats. This heat features Venata, a variety speedrunner who was featured in the last tournament, coming back with some brand new personal bests and learning a ton of new strategies. Ecifircas, a new runner who adopted many new strategies and quickly rose up the board, ranking in the top 20 just before the tournament. He, Venata, and Fiery were known to do many races before the tournament for practice and fun. Flenels, someone who is also new to the Devil May Cry speedrunning scene, but has been instrumental in developing new strategies. Primarily a manipulation for Shadow on mission 5 that would come out just after this tournament. Also, he was climbing the leaderboard rather quickly, achieving a 35-50, breaking into the top 10 just before the event. Then finally, you have me, who, if you somehow don't know and you're watching this video, has had every world record in this game at the same time before, and is the only full-time streamer in the event. While I don't have the any percent normal record at the time of this event, I have been recently grinding any percent no items, a category I made up because I wasn't a huge fan of any percent normal. So while I wasn't acutely familiar with the grind that was any percent normal, I had been playing the game a lot recently and been actively routing and competing in a very similar category, doing so for about 2 weeks. And about a week before this event, I set my eyes back to any percent normal. This is when I would use my knowledge to completely reroute the any percent normal run in my own vision. I gotten pretty lucky in the seeding, to be honest. As far as competition goes, while the other runners in my heat are very good, especially Flen, with the amount of practice I had, something catastrophic would need to happen for me to drop to 3rd place. I did, however, want to get 1st, and not just because I didn't want to lose out to Flen, it also would give me much better seeding for the next round. If I beat Flen and qualified 1st, I would face off against Moody, If I got second, then I would face Dan. In this scenario, I would much rather face off against Moody, as he's more rusty and less likely to pull off a low 35 than Dan, in my opinion. My goal was to train consistency and to create a route that would implement new time saves found from previous discoveries to create a safe but fast new world record meta route, one that would allow me to dominate the competition. I had 2 weeks before the event, and in this time, I got to cooking. I got my DT back. Okay, so I didn't even need to taunt, but I got my DT back from just fighting him. So that's good. That means that I could get a really fast Eaton and not have to build DT anywhere else, so it doesn't lose any time. So that's looking good. 7 seconds from entering the room to fighting the nobody. So if I do the other strat, starting at 20 seconds, it's about the same, looks like. Maybe 1 second slower. Breaks even, roughly. Did I gold? I did gold. Oh! Pog! Looks like we have a winner. I think I got it. I think I solidified another 1 second PB. Is this record? No, not even close. But it is another PB. Let's go, dude. Oh, that's so funny. Nice, I golded it again. I love you too, Oreo. Big hug. Big lovey-dovey little sponge. It's like, getting hit there actually is a big deal if I want to do the orb route I want to do. So I need to figure out how to make that not happen. One of the main things I wanted to practice before I started runs. Because I'm going to start buying the untouchable for 15 instead of picking it up, which will save like 4 seconds. But in order to do that, I need to not get hit here. Otherwise, I might run out of money and have to do an extra menu. Oh, rip bozo. Rip bozo. Wow, that's how the run dies. That's crazy. I just got like super insanely unlucky RNG on this start. I like want to just stop for the day, like go to the gym or something. But at the same time, any run I do could world record and tomorrow's the tournament. But I already did like 5 fucking runs and PB'd. Mission 1 goes well for everyone, but Mission 2, I get completely trolled and lose my S rank to a wild random arrow. What? Bro, this game is terrible. Fuck me, dude. Flen and myself both opt to go to the Gat Gang.
Been having some trouble with this too.
Oh yeah, Flen is he's a shotgun believer.
Oh, let's see.
Gat Gang.
Gat Gang rising up. Remember Gat Gang in the last tournament got left in shambles.
Well,
see
we're
how
back.
The Gat loses 5 seconds to grab and equip on Mission 2, but then you can consequentially save 4 on Mission 3 if done perfectly. Remember, I said that something catastrophic would need to happen in order for me to get third? Well, something catastrophic happened alright, but it happened to everyone. I got the slow turn RNG and I recovered okay, but then my attack started whiffing right through the boss. Then it wouldn't let me jump on his back for some reason. At this point, I was in pure panic mode. Getting hit here would lose a special bonus and consequentially 2,000 orbs, so I was very careful not to get hit. Ah! Jesus Christ. Flen actually gets there ahead of me and gets better RNG, but his positioning on the first hit was bad, teleporting him to the front of the boss instead of behind. Then after a miss hit, the boss turns around and now it's on. He does save it pretty well though, and does not lose his special bonus. Saphiro is the third to arrive at the fight and also gets perfect RNG, but misses their third hit, causing some chaos that is eventually restored to order without any hits taken. Vin, I'll be honest, I'm not sure what happened here, but she also saves it.
Oh, come on, Vin. Clutch it out. Everyone else got theirs. Yeah.
So that catastrophic occurrence did happen to everyone, actually. Ironically, this means that with our combined catastrophes, I'm now in third place. Flen and Seph are almost synced going into Nello Angelo. I opted for a slightly slower strategy for the Shadow that would give me an S rank, thus fixing my A rank from Mission 2. I get a bit screwed by my cat and end up in last place out of Mission 5. Jesus Christ, this run is a catastrophe. This run is so bad, bro. Like, holy shit. Dude, he's not gonna blow up. Blow up! Holy fuck. But this is where my practice and intimacy with my new route would come into play. I am the only person in the tournament fully committing to this new route. The main difference is the GAT. But in addition to that, also, instead of buying Air Hike on Mission 8, I would buy Air Raid on Mission 6 and Vortex. This allows me to save some additional time in the earlier missions over other runners by having better movement. Primarily on Missions 6 and 7, as well as Mission 10. This did mean that I was going to have to skip Air Hike on Mission 8 though, but what that also meant is I could skip a menu there too, saving even more time. This is something I came up with after labbing a lot of strategies and any percent no items. By Mission 8, I had already passed Vin. After Mission 8, I was ahead of Sephiro, and all that was left was to claw my way back into first.
Waifu is catching up to Flynn though. Quite handy. And he has to pass that. 102.
Gold for Waifu.
102 with no air hike. That's pretty good.
Not that I knew any of this, by the way. No one was watching the other runners mid-race. All I knew was that my run was dog shit, and if I lost any more time, I probably had a chance of not being in second. Because of my Vortex strategy, I already passed Flynn by the first door in Mission 10, but I would lose some times to a route change later in the level. In order to skip some menus and actually an item pickup later, I opted to kill these Dino Nuggy looking motherfuckers by hand. If I do it with no damage taken, then I'll S-rank this mission instead of the normal A rank, giving me a huge bonus to my economy. It actually doesn't lose any time versus doing a holy water here if you get really lucky during the fight. Flynn was right on my tail, but I had a much better orb route. With him getting hit on Mission 11, the gap was now huge.
Messed up that early game. He's got to make it back somehow.
Flynn got damage.
I could afford to skip the untouchable pickup on Mission 12, saving an additional 3 seconds. Flynn has to grab this, and on top of that, a backup holy water, losing a few more seconds later on. This lead of mine would be greatly diminished by me getting fucking infinite comboed by a wall of spikes that I accidentally flew into, but okay. Hey. Oh my god, dude. After Mission 15, Flynn is only 12 seconds behind me. This is when the first nightmare fight would happen, and I would get stun locked by his missiles. This makes me miss my timing. And I know that I'm not going to be able to get the holy water off in time, so I opt to just wait and bait out a second cycle. This ends up making us only about 3 seconds apart at the end of Mission 16.
Oh, but Waifu is also having a bad nightmare.
Oh yeah, I did
not realize.
Oh. It's not away from them, but he cleans
This
up
is where
on the
Flannels
outside.
can bring it back.
On Mission 20, my initial plan was to do a new strategy I had developed where you could beat the first phase of Nightmare without using a holy water. It turns out it's about the same speed as using one. This lack of Catholic Priest bathwater would enable you to skip a menu or buy a safety item later on if your orb route was basically perfect up to this point. Unfortunately, however, I had some mixed results with it. I couldn't risk it in this race because my run was already so bad, so I bought an extra and I just played it safe. I was still going to do it, but then I got staggered and got a front core attack. This is when I went full YOLO and just did this strat here. Great. Does this do what I hope it does? Okay. This is new, I believe. I don't think anyone had ever done the fight like this yet, and it perfectly saved my run. Flynn also gets staggered, but doesn't realize that he is going to run out of DT for his final hit, thus making the holy water not do enough damage to get the phase skip. Then he dies.
Vital start, man. Is he dead?
He did. Oh,
He died.
Oh.
I get a good Cosmo climb, and it's basically GG. Oh, through the door? Let's go. I have secured the dub. I actually ended up getting a world record on Mission 22 for using the Mash Mundus strat as well.
Too easy.
I golden. 109. Nice. But Flynn choking so hard actually puts Sephiro in contention for second place. His Nightmare 3 was also scuffed, but the death loses such an insane amount of time. Unfortunately for Sephiro, no matter how close he was to catching up to Flynn, Mundus had other plans.
Also,
Sephiro dodging the battle
the
MD.
pillars.
Sephiro
Now
dodging
he's
the
got
battle
meteorite.
MD. Still pulled it out.
I finished first with a 36-39, followed by Flannels with a 38-43, and then Sephiro with a 39-11, followed by Vin with a 41-08. This means that I would move on to face Moody in the next 1v1 round. Flannels would then face Dan. As well as I saved my run here, I think there was no way that if I had a performance like that against Moody that I would win. Same thing could be said for Flannels versus Dan. That is actually the next match, though. Immediately after this one, Flannels would race Dan Spence.
First things first, yeah. Will they miss this jump?
Yeah, they're both gonna go. Ah!
Oh, Flynn.
I'm actually going for the risky single jump.
Oh yeah.
Too.
Pretty finicky.
That's painful. He's
Okay.
pulling an ish.
Guys, that's on Ish. I mean, that's a commentary curse right there. Don't put it on me.
And just like that, it's GG. Nice try, Flynn, but Dan wins this one. Jokes aside, this did lose like 15 seconds to Dan's mission 1, which it wasn't even really good by itself, so. Dan does the DT strat for mission 2 scissors, despite not doing shotgun strats. This means he has to taunt the spiders in the next room. Yes, you heard me right. Dante taunts infant baby spiders and boosts his ego so much that he gets Super Saiyan mode. Flynn has the advantage of using the GAT. This means he does not have to taunt the spiders and will have a faster mission 3 because of this. The reason Dan has to taunt is because he needs Devil Trigger for the mission 3 skull fight, but the shotgun means this is not necessary at all. Dan gets a perfect phantom, but Flynn's is pretty good as well. He misses a few slashes, but the boss walks towards the exit door and he maintains his special bonus. Dan completes mission 3 at 6 minutes flat. This is the barrier for early game world record paces. In most instances, a run that is 6 flat or lower is good enough to continue even when trying to get world records. This was the fastest early game of the event so far. After Flynn's mishap in mission 3, he's roughly 35 seconds behind Dan. Dan is on some sick pace though, low 35 pace, until the Fire Nation attacked. And by that I mean he was completely griefed. He goes for Skewer and it doesn't get it, then opts to spam instead. But then on top of that, he grabs the cat orbs. In order to get the special bonus on this mission, you need 100 orbs and no damage. He got no damage fine, but when he went to grab the orb cache that has 100 orbs, when he did so, he stingered wrong and flew right off the fucking map and had to redo the movement all the way back up. Then he opted to grab a different orb cache inside instead. The cat orbs and the alternative orb cache added up to 99 orbs, meaning Dan missed his special bonus by 1 orb, losing out on 2,000 orbs overall. On top of that, he went from 17 seconds ahead of his personal best to now 10 seconds behind. Flynn is now only 3 seconds behind and has a much better orb route. Going into mission 8, Dan now can't afford air hike, while Flynn can, and Dan has to get the special bonus on mission 8. In order to do this, he has to grab a lot of extra orbs, causing him a lot of time loss. Flynn actually is now in the lead going into mission 9. It wouldn't last for long though, as in the very next mission during a trick called Early Gauntlets, Flynn would accidentally activate his Devil Trigger way too early, causing him to run out of DT early. He then has to do a backup that loses about 15 seconds. This puts Dan back in the lead. Despite this, he is very anxious about his economy, even though he has more than fixed it at this point. He even grabs some extra items that he doesn't need to. On the other side, Flynn is also panicking and forgetting to buy items. He loses about 10 seconds on mission 10 by forgetting to buy holy waters for the Cyclopses at the end.
Oh! You got the holy water and then you use it.
It has to remember not to, yeah, it has to be in range. Both of them. Almost getting hit there, Jesus.
That is a little bit far.
Dan then loses his S rank on mission 11 for basically no reason. He's trolling essentially. My man's trolling. He's panicking. Someone help. He's doing everything wrong. Well, actually both of them are. Like, this is just pure panic mode in this mid game here. Flynn is only about 23 seconds behind going into mission 11. This is when things would seemingly start to settle. The runner's nerves relaxing after all this panic. Or so I thought. It turns out Flynn made a huge mistake on mission 12. And instead of grabbing the needle gun, accidentally grabbed the Devil Star instead and did not notice. Not only does this mess up their every menu for the rest of the game basically, adding 1 extra input and ruining your muscle memory, he now needs to grab the needle gun while underwater, and it is so jank. This ruins his easy setup for no damage, and he has to improvise. Somehow, he avoids getting hit and secures his S rank anyway though. Dan does eventually get his shit back together and gets his best ever mission 15. It turns out it's actually tied world record for that level. By the end of mission 15, Flynn is about a minute behind. Dan should have this in the bag, assuming he doesn't throw. He then proceeds to throw, leaving the Nightmare boss fight too early, not getting his DT back to Vortex the bridge, then collecting 3 orbs instead of only 2.
I've done that.
Dan. Why is he risking it though? He has no
Oh, wait.
DT now.
Wait, did he not wait for it?
No.
He did not wait for it.
It's not
You
worth to
know-
be greedy for that extra frame, and he messes up the orbs too.
And he's taking again. I suppose.
This stops him from being able to S-rank mission 19. Regardless, he's still over a minute ahead of Flen. In order for him to catch up to Dan, something absolutely catastrophic would have to happen. Dan also gets the world record on mission 20 in this run. The lead would stay about the same for the rest of the run. Dan would get a really good Cosmo climb, but missing that S rank on 19 would stop him from being able to afford the Devil Stars he needs to spam dragons on the first phase. Then he messes up the mashing strat. But he doesn't die, and in my own words, so Dan's doing what we like to call trolling, and is doing this fight awfully. Flen then messes up Cosmo climb.
Oh no.
Probably not gonna do that.
It's over.
Yes.
Unless he throws on 23.
Okay, fine. Just climb up, buddy.
We were all hoping that Dan would watch the "looks like we have a winner" cutscene, because he has a history of watching the cutscene in races. He actually loses 4 seconds when he does this. It's a fun flex. The funnier part about it, though, is that he has lost 2 races because he decided to do this. So I think for this tournament, he probably won't do that anymore. He didn't watch the cutscene here, but he did finish first with a 36:43. Flen then finishes with a 38:56. Flen had an uphill battle here if he wanted to win this race, and Dan gave him nearly every opportunity to come back. But he couldn't pull it together and keep his performance consistent enough to be able to beat out Dan. So for this tournament, we're saying goodbye to Flanels. But next up, we're saying hello to Moody and myself. This is the first head-to-head between 2 previous world record holders to happen in this tournament. Unfortunately, we're both a bit washed. Fortunately though, we both have opted to do completely different routes. Moody has been going in the fiery direction and opting to go for no air hike at all, but instead 8 purple orb Mundus. I have gone all in on my own custom route that allows me to get early vortex and air hike, while buying an extra untouchable for safety on the Mundus boss fight. Unfortunately, this will be the first run of the event where we see an A rank on mission 1. Fortunately, it wasn't me who got it. Moody gets his ass beat in the basement, completely out of his control, and he unluckily does not collect enough orbs to offset this beatdown. This leaves an S rank off the table.
Ooh,
Fortunate muting, my boy.
What this changes specifically is he won't be able to afford Stinger 2 on mission 3, losing him a lot of time and movement and down 400 orbs overall. I also finished 7 seconds faster. Moody is not doing the shotgun though, so he'll save 5 seconds in mission 2, even if I'll get most of that back on mission 3. We both have fantastic scissors. I actually tied the community gold for shotgun grab on mission 2 with this run. I already know I'm getting there on the perfect line. 50, 49, 47, baby, that's right. I get the slow turn RNG on Phantom, but I save it really well. Oh my God. That's fine. Moody, on the other hand, also gets the slow turn, but misses his first hit, making a good recovery much harder.
He's gonna catch up.
Oh, he's got the same. He's got the slow turn as well. This is unfortunate on both sides. This.
Yeah, and he missed the crit. He's gonna have a slightly worse fight.
This is a shocker. Come on, Moody. Oh, did this? He's not playing nice.
Okay, as long as he doesn't take damage.
Yeah, he needs to focus on not taking damage right now. Oh, he took it right at the end.
No,
right at the end.
just took the damage. No, he did not.
Yeah, he did. Oh, Moody, my boy.
I'm now 35 seconds ahead after mission 3 and over 2,500 orbs ahead in route. Thankfully for Moody, his route means he won't have to actually lose that much time if he could do some backups efficiently. His first backup was to S rank mission 4, but then he loses that by getting hit and not getting a skewer attack.
Not going well.
How did I get hit?
Oh dear.
He got hit on M4 as well. He's back hat.
On the other hand, my run is going great. I'm only 10 seconds off PB pace after mission 5, and I have a perfect orb route. Snap back to Moody, and he makes the same mistake Dan did on the movement, losing even more time. I'm about a minute ahead after mission 6. I was in the zone. as Loner was saying, but he fucking jinxed me.
Waifu, at the moment, Waifu is in the zone. Like, especially after he got a very strong early game start. Everything is cool for him.
Yeah. Okay, let's see his fandom.
Oh,
he's missed it. Unlucky. He's missed it again. See, this is what I'm talking about. Consistency is what you want in this race.
Yeah. Oh wow, I'm surprised that crit worked.
So, because that's gonna give him...
What time I lost on mission 8, Moody would not be able to make back because he needs the special bonus there. And on top of that, he had a bad fight. Before Moody has finished mission 9, I'm already on mission 11. In my head, I figured that this pace would be something that Moody couldn't beat, even if he had a good run. I was focusing on getting my personal best. I was overdue for one based on my current paces that I was getting in my recent runs. So I locked in and golded a few mid-game missions. By the end of mission 15, I'm only 3 seconds behind PB. I would slowly bleed time from here on though, getting my own Dragon Fireball meme.
Bruh. Are you kidding me?
Because it was so close to PB, I wanted to skip the Holy Water on Nightmare 3, but I got unlucky and it didn't do enough damage. This lost me my PB and I almost die.
That's so unlucky. I might lose because of that. That's crazy. Wow, I thought that was too early. It was a good save, but that's a big time loss.
It lost me 13 seconds, so not too bad, but that was solidified in my brain that after this race, I needed to stop going for this strategy, at least in this tournament, because I could get fucked by RNG, and that could even lose me a race. I won my first 1v1 and defeated the gaming legend Moody. While Moody did get unequivocally fucked by RNG, I also played very well. With the pace I had, I think that even if Moody's run was really good, it would have been very difficult for him to beat me. I wish that the race was closer, but Moody did an amazing job saving the run that he did have. He ended up getting a 37.43, only 2 minutes slower than my 35.47, even with the insane RNG meme fiesta that he had to play through. A much better run than a lot of the other people would have pulled off in the tournament with far worse RNG. That leaves the Half-Life God disqualified, and me moving on to the semifinals. This concludes the first day of the event. With some of the big hitters already out of the tournament, things are really shaking up. The next day, we would be getting into the semifinals. Would Lady Luck be on my side? Or would the Hex Girls curse me with another year without the title? Find out next time. Thanks so much for watching, stay stylish, and do something hard. It's good for you.